This is your 1-year game plan for total, and I mean total body mastery. Lee Weiland, Pacific Rim Athletics and creator of Powerbatics. And yes, 1 year at minimum. Anybody who says otherwise is either badly mistaken or simply not telling you the truth. And I don't mean just losing weight or just flexibility or just building a planche or some kind of strength move. Those are all one-dimensional aspects to a 4D project. And this is where millions of people go wrong. Getting with a trainer someplace that just does weight loss, or getting a video series that just does XYZ strength or skill. Here we'll dive into what a year of training should or could look like for you, obstacles and all, for total holistic physical training as a unit. Year 1, month 1. No matter if you're a kid, teen or adult, 30, 50, even 70 plus years old, like many of our students, no matter what your background or injury history is, no matter if you're totally brand spanking new out of the box to physical training, or already a 10-year plus veteran, or learning anything new for that matter, whether learning a new language or theology. First month, start with building a foundation. What does that include for physical training? Nutrition, keep it super simple. Whole real foods, don't overthink it. Water, sleep, 30 to 60 minutes of training per day. Yes, per day. Take 1 day off Sabbath style. We are designed for rest, so if you don't, you're setting yourself up for injury and frustration. At minimum, train 3 days per week, but you'll never get anywhere doing less than that. And take 1 week light per month, plus nothing on the final Friday of the month. For us, that's when we level test for strength, flexibility, and skill as assessed through something we call katas. If weight loss is a goal, we should be tracking at 0.5 to 1 pound per week. In your first month, you might also see much more dramatic weight loss due to water weight. Totally normal. If weak links or injury recovery are goals, then we should be targeting those specifically within the context of holistic training. And if strength and flexibility are goals, then we should be working on them simultaneously, as measured through our 3 basics of Powerbatics Foundation: the press handstand, V-stand, and muscle up, or pull up for some. If you're a raw beginner or advanced, either way, you should always begin with assessing where you're currently at. We do a formal assessment to help students and coaches be on the same page. I don't know how many times I've even seen the most advanced and accelerated people and athletes not assessing where they're at, and eventually they end up just getting stuck and really on this plateau of not learning any new skills and just kind of staying where they're at. You should get one, be it with us or otherwise. Minimal equipment. People overcomplicate this all the time and end up never getting anywhere, even though they own every gizmo and every book from every guru. 6 by 6 feet of floor space and something to hang from is literally all you need to develop elite level strength and even skill. And then training begins. And don't mistake videos like these for coaching with safety, insurance, levels, and the whole 9 yards. Otherwise, you're just pulling the carpet out from underneath yourself every time you watch a different video that has all sorts of contradictory information. And I'll show Cindy here as an example who wanted to correct posture and fix a number of past injuries across the spine, knees, etc. And now she's doing phenomenal on her training. Year 1, month 2. You should already notice an increase in strength and a visible increase in overall flexibility and movement. Sometimes water weight will come off very rapidly, even up to 5 to 15 pounds per week in the first couple of weeks. Then it'll taper off to that 0.5 to 1 pound per week. Don't mistake that for a plateau during this month. Same for strength. You'll notice a quick burst and then the S-curve. Again, don't mistake this for a plateau. We want to rest and then start stacking S-curves. Patience is vital, along with love, joy, peace, kindness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control. 1 million Pac-Rimian points to the first person who can guess where that came from. Here I'll show Matt as an example, who came in at 46 or so with back issues from a prior broken vertebrae. He made smooth and consistent progress through foundation, navigating bumps along the way as he continued on to greater strength and mobility, including all sorts of handstands. Year 1, month 3. Let's take a relatively healthy, moderately fit person for this example. After 12 weeks of training into month 3, we should be developing enough compression strength to lift the legs off the ground for the L stand, which will progress into the V stand naturally. We should also be at bare minimum developing the bottom portion of the pull-up, if not the chin all the way over the bar for your first pull-up. Time and again, and listen close because this is a secret you'll only hear on this channel. The magic number is 20 for a muscle up. Time and again, we've seen that when people get to 20 pull-ups, the muscle up is right on the other side. if you have good shoulder mobility and full ROM chest strength. And by 12 weeks, a press handstand should be achievable, even if you need to hop it a little off the floor. And this is all accomplished through attention to detail and selecting the appropriate progressions for your unique needs. And by this point, you should have several dozen progressions under your belt of the thousands more you'll get to learn. Che is a great example here. Mother, accountant, and acquiring all three, press handstand, V-stand, and muscle up in 12 weeks. Year 1, month 4. After 16 full weeks of training, you should have a very strong understanding of how to train. Your foundation is well established. Most programs and courses will actually stop at this point because muscle takes 90-day cycles to transform and flexibility about 6 months, and they bank on people constantly needing follow-up courses because they're not getting anywhere. Don't let yourself fall into those cheap courses. Do it right. Either spend the time, probably 5 to 10 years of trial and error, just being honest, or get coaching and do it right from the start. In fact, for every 1 rep you do correctly, it takes 3 to fix later. So imagine doing 100 handstand attempts. That's gonna take 300 to correct it. And some people are doing it wrong for years. That adds up to all sorts of problems. It could be fixed, but better just to do it right from the start. This is also where most get stuck or plateau at about 3 to 4 months. However, what we want to do is another full-on assessment. This is where most of our students online renew at about the 4-month mark. And at the facility, they just start with a year. And if you're training with us, you may have already mastered your foundation kata and leveled up to officially start level 1. Either way, now's the time for a good assessment to make sure you're on the right track. Year 1, month 5. Next on the agenda is to reestablish baseline and reevaluate any weak links. If you have not achieved a press handstand, V-stand, or muscle up / pull up, then just acknowledge the weak area and you should add progressions or regressions to fine tune your training. We can also continue mastering foundation kata. If you're ready for more at this point, then we start stacking elements of Powerbatics. This is what you should be doing with your own training as well. Face to face at the facility, we usually immerse a student into everything all at once with single moves from each element that complement the foundation kata. Plus, there's a universal warm-up to memorize. For adults online, we stack 1 element at a time. The first that usually comes is ninja strength, gravity-defying total body weight strength. This is by far the favorite of adults because it builds strength and mobility in a very controlled way, which is exactly how you should be training strength, controlled and systematically. Here's what to do. For ninja strength, you take the press handstand, V-stand, and muscle up and start putting them at various angles for 10 unique strength moves. The handstand simply goes sideways for the human flag. There's the planche push-up, the front lever row, the static front lever and back lever, the one-arm meat hook and reverse flag, one-arm pull-up, all muscle-up variations, and the handstand push-up. And we don't just jump into these either. Use safe progressions for each, as well as the ninja strength katas to build each. Progression by progression, level by level is how you should structure your own training, be it with us or otherwise. And how could I not mention Vinny here as an example? He came in with 5 hip surgeries, 2 knee surgeries, and a spine fusion in his late 40s. He is now 53 and level 10 ninja strength and a phenomenal example of what's possible. Year 1, month 6. By month 6 of anything, when fully immersed, you should really be noticing some significant progress. At bare minimum, you should have at least a few inches lower in your middle splits, be able to touch your toes, a frog stand, and a chin up, if you're training 30 to 60 minutes per day for 3 to 5 days a week. Of course, there are exceptions to every rule, say for overcoming a very sedentary life or past injuries. Very important that you do not beat yourself up if you're not in the place you thought you'd be. Calm down, communicate with your coach, whoever that may be, and restart with fresh eyes and optimism. But honestly, you really should see some progress by this point. At the other end of the spectrum, you might even be itching to compete in something. Maybe an obstacle race, maybe a martial arts or parkour event, maybe one of ours. So start training for one. In another 6 months, you should be ready for at least the beginner division. Then go get out of your comfort zone and have some fun. If not, that's okay too. We might stack another element. Often it'll be hand balancing, the second element of Powerbatics. You've already started hand balancing with the context of foundation and ninja strength, but this is a whole new ballgame. In my opinion, hand balancing as a discipline isn't given even close to enough attention or credit it deserves. either as a competition format or as a means for lifelong health. And I also say that it is very similar to learning to draw. Everyone thinks it's cool when they see a realistic drawing, but it takes an extreme amount of discipline and patience to develop the skill of drawing. Same with hand balancing, but it's incredible for your core strength, overall body weight strength, and lifelong health. At the beginner levels, you need to start with knee and elbow supports like frog and crab and so on. And after 10 levels of study, you're masterfully using phenomenal strength of your core and upper body in equilibristic balance. Patrick is a really good example who came in and built handstands at all angles in his first 12-week block, including planche, V-stand, handstand, hollow back, and Stalder press handstand.